What if I told you there's a place that stays a constant 34 degrees, even when the world outside hits 110? No electricity, no noise, just ancient wisdom and the earth itself. Stick around, because we're about to uncover the chilling secrets the Amish have used for centuries. Secrets that could revolutionize how we think about keeping food fresh. Hey everyone! Before we dive in, I spent hours researching historical methods and poring over detailed accounts of Amish practices. What I found isn't just fascinating, it's genuinely surprising. We're talking about underground marvels that outperform modern fridges in silence and sustainability. Trust me, you don't want to miss how they do it. So here's the question. How do they keep things that cold, naturally? Let's find out. And while we explore, drop a comment. What's the first thing you'd store in a root cellar? The Earth's secret weapon. So what's the secret behind keeping food fresh for months without electricity? It starts right beneath our feet. Deep underground, about 10 feet down, the Earth maintains a remarkably steady temperature. This isn't affected much by whether it's a scorching summer day or a freezing winter night up top. We're talking a cool, consistent 34 to 40 degrees Fahrenheit. This stable temperature is the foundation of root cellar magic. This temperature is perfect, like Goldilocks porridge. Just right. It's just above freezing, so your vegetables won't turn into ice cubes, but it's cold enough to significantly slow down the natural decay process. Fruits and vegetables are still alive after being harvested. Just like us, they breathe and release heat. The cool environment of a root cellar slows down their respiration rate, which means they stay fresh much longer than they would at room temperature. Temperature is only half the story. Humidity plays an equally crucial role. Most root cellars maintain humidity levels between 85% and 95%. This might sound like a tropical rainforest, but there's a good reason for all that moisture. Without high humidity, your carrots would turn into carrot sticks that could double as drumsticks, and your potatoes would shrivel up faster than a balloon at a pin factory. The natural moisture in the earth helps maintain this perfect humidity level. A dirt floor isn't just cheaper than concrete, it's actually a crucial component of the root cellar's preservation system. The earth naturally releases and absorbs moisture, acting like a giant humidity regulator. It's like having a smart humidifier that never needs to be plugged in or refilled. This natural regulation is key to long-term storage. What makes these natural cooling systems even more remarkable is their energy efficiency. While modern refrigerators hum away day and night, consuming electricity and contributing to your monthly bills, root cellars work in complete silence, powered by nothing more than the laws of physics. The Earth's thermal mass acts as a natural insulator, keeping the temperature steady regardless of the weather outside. Different foods have different sweet spots for storage. Root vegetables like carrots, potatoes and beets thrive in the cooler, more humid, lower areas of the cellar. Apples and pears prefer slightly cooler temperatures with moderate humidity, while onions and garlic do better in drier, slightly warmer spots. It's like having different climate zones in your own underground food storage system. The science behind air circulation in root cellars is equally fascinating. Warm air rises while cool air sinks, a simple principle that root cellars use to maintain proper ventilation. Many traditional designs include two vents, one near the floor to let in cool air and another near the ceiling to let warm air escape. This creates a natural convection current that keeps the air fresh and helps prevent mold growth. You could say it's the original smart home technology, no batteries required. One of the most interesting aspects is how root cellars prevent premature sprouting. The darkness and cool temperatures trick vegetables into thinking it's still winter, so they don't start trying to grow. It's like putting your vegetables into a gentle hibernation until you're ready to eat them. The Amish have perfected these principles using nothing but traditional materials. Their root cellars are the original green technology. It all starts with the materials they choose. Stone is the superstar of root cellar construction. These aren't just any rocks, they're carefully selected stones that fit together like a giant underground puzzle. Each stone plays its part in creating walls that can be up to 2 feet thick. These thick walls act like a thermal battery, absorbing and releasing heat so slowly that the inside temperature barely changes, even when Mother Nature is having a mood swing outside. Clay is another MVP in the natural materials lineup. When packed properly, clay creates an almost impenetrable barrier against both heat and moisture. The Amish have known for generations what modern builders are just rediscovering. Clay can maintain a steady temperature better than most modern insulation materials. Plus, it doesn't off-gas harmful chemicals like some synthetic materials do. The thermal mass of a properly built stone wall is equivalent to about 8 to 12 inches of modern fiberglass insulation. Unlike fiberglass, stone doesn't lose its insulating properties over time. The dirt floor isn't just about saving money on concrete, though that's certainly a nice bonus. A properly prepared earth floor is actually a crucial component of the root cellar's humidity control system. The natural soil underneath allows moisture to move up and down as needed, maintaining that perfect humidity level that keeps your vegetables crisp instead of mushy. Wood also plays a crucial role, particularly in the ceiling construction. The Amish typically use cedar or white oak for root cellar components because these woods naturally resist rot and insects. A well-built wooden ceiling structure can last for decades without treatment. The entrance to an Amish root cellar is another masterpiece of natural engineering. Most feature a double door system with a small anteroom between the doors. This creates an airlock of sorts, preventing the cold air from rushing out every time someone goes in for supplies. One of the most ingenious aspects of Amish root cellar construction is the ventilation system. Using nothing but carefully placed stones and air channels, they create a natural draft that keeps the air fresh without letting in too much warmth. Modern builders might spend thousands on mechanical ventilation systems, but the Amish achieved the same result with strategically placed holes and a good understanding of how air moves. The materials used in shelving are equally important. While modern storage might use metal or plastic shelving, Amish root cellars typically feature slatted wooden shelves made from rot-resistant woods. These allow air to circulate around the stored food while also absorbing excess moisture. The gaps between the slats are carefully calculated. Too wide, and your potatoes might roll around. Too narrow, and you'll lose that crucial air circulation. Even the mortar used between stones is specially chosen. Traditional lime mortar, unlike modern Portland cement, allows the walls to breathe while still maintaining their structural integrity. This breathing ability is crucial for managing moisture levels and preventing the growth of unwanted mold. And while we're on the subject of keeping things cool naturally, you won't believe how the Amish use underground water to create their own version of air conditioning. The Amish have mastered a clever trick of using underground water not as the primary cooling source, since the root cellars themselves maintain that perfect 34 degrees Fahrenheit from Earth's natural temperature, but as an additional temperature management system that helps maintain consistency year-round. Let's talk numbers. While the Earth at root cellar depth maintains that crucial 34 degrees Fahrenheit temperature, underground streams typically run between 50 to 60 degrees Fahrenheit. Now you might be thinking, wait a minute, why would we want to introduce warmer water into our nice cool cellar? Here's where Amish ingenuity shines. They use these water systems primarily as temperature regulators and humidity controllers, not as the main cooling mechanism. During the coldest winter months, when outside temperatures can plunge well below freezing, these relatively warmer water channels actually help prevent the cellar from getting too cold. It's like having a thermal buffer that keeps things from freezing. Meanwhile, in summer, the 50 to 60 degree Fahrenheit water while warmer than the cellar's ideal temperature, is still much cooler than the outside air. This helps reduce the impact of warm air entering when people access the cellar. The real genius lies in how the Amish use water for humidity control. By running these water channels through the walls or under the floor, they create a natural humidity regulation system. The flowing water releases just enough moisture into the air to maintain that crucial 85 to 95% humidity level that keeps vegetables crisp and fresh. Some Amish communities have developed sophisticated drainage systems that help maintain the cellar's temperature stability. The water channels are carefully positioned to carry away any excess heat that might seep in from above, while also providing that steady source of humidity. One wrong calculation, and you could end up with an underground swimming pool instead of a root cellar. The maintenance of these water systems is another testament to Amish ingenuity. Regular cleaning is essential to prevent algae growth and maintain proper flow, but instead of using harsh chemicals, they often introduce small fish into the external water channels. These fish eat any algae that might try to build up, creating a self-cleaning system. Nature's very own maintenance crew. One particularly clever aspect of this system is how it handles seasonal changes. During summer months, when temperature regulation is most crucial, the underground water flow actually increases due to spring thaws and rain. This natural increase in flow rate provides extra temperature buffering exactly when it's needed most. It's as if the system knows exactly when to kick into high gear without any fancy sensors or smart technology. The engineering behind these water systems is surprisingly complex, despite using no modern technology. The Amish have to calculate the right slope for water flow, ensure proper drainage, and position the channels just right to maximize humidity distribution while minimizing any warming effect on the cellar's core temperature. It's like conducting an orchestra, where every pipe and channel plays its part in the symphony of food preservation. Some Amish communities have even figured out how to use these water systems to create different humidity zones within the same cellar. Areas closer to the water channels maintain higher humidity for crops that need it, while areas further away stay a bit drier for produce that prefers less moisture. It's like having climate zones in your refrigerator, except this one runs on nothing but gravity and good planning. But of course, the success of any root cellar isn't just about its water systems. It's also about where you put it. The location of your cellar can make the difference between a food preservation paradise and an underground sauna. The perfect spot for a root cellar is kind of like finding a parking space in a crowded mall during holiday season. It takes patience, strategy, and a bit of luck. At about 10 feet underground, something magical happens. The earth maintains a nearly constant temperature year-round. According to soil temperature studies, every 10 feet you go down, the temperature variation between summer and winter decreases by about 2 degrees Fahrenheit. By the time you hit that sweet 10-foot mark, the seasonal temperature swing is less than 5 degrees Fahrenheit. North-facing slopes are the gold standard for root cellar placement. Why? Because they receive the least direct sunlight throughout the year. The Amish figured out centuries ago what modern builders are just catching up to. The sun is like that overly enthusiastic friend who wants to help but ends up making everything too warm. A north-facing slope naturally stays cooler, giving your cellar a head start in the temperature game. The surrounding landscape plays a crucial role too. Trees can be both friends and foes. On the upside, they provide natural shade and help regulate ground temperature. On the downside, their roots can be more persistent than a telemarketer trying to reach you about your car's extended warranty. The Amish typically look for spots with mature trees nearby for shade, but not so close that roots become an issue. Drainage is another critical factor that separates a successful root cellar from an underground pool. The ground should slope away from the cellar entrance on all sides. About a 2% grade is ideal. That's approximately a 2-foot drop for every 100 feet of distance. One Amish farmer told me they call it the potato roll test. If you put a potato on the ground and it rolls away from the cellar entrance, you're on the right track. Height of the water table matters more than you might think. A high water table can turn your root cellar into a submarine. The ideal spot has a water table at least 4 feet below the cellar floor. The Amish have a clever way of testing this. They dig a test hole during the wettest season and wait 24 hours. If it stays dry, you've got yourself a winner. If it fills with water, well, maybe it's time to take up fishing instead of root cellar building. Wind patterns factor into location selection too. The ideal spot catches just enough breeze to help with ventilation, but isn't in a wind tunnel. Too much wind can actually pull the cool air right out of your cellar faster than a teenager empties the fridge after school. The Amish often use natural windbreaks like hills or tree lines to protect their cellars from excessive air movement. Soil composition can affect ground temperature by up to 5 degrees Fahrenheit. Sandy soils tend to be warmer, while clay soils stay cooler. The Amish prefer locations with a good mix of clay and loam, what they sometimes call Goldilocks soil, because it's just right, not too sandy, not too clay heavy, and definitely not full of rocks the size of bowling balls. Access is another crucial consideration. You want your cellar close enough to be convenient, but far enough from the house to maintain its cool temperature. The Amish typically aim for a distance of 50 to 100 feet from the main building. Any closer and house heat can affect the cellar. Any further, and that midnight snack run becomes an expedition. The entrance orientation is particularly important. A south-facing door might as well be a solar panel, while an east-facing entrance means morning sun hits it when the air is cool. Most Amish root cellars feature entrances that face east or northeast, protected by a small overhang that acts like a baseball cap for your cellar. 2. The Amish master builders. Now, while the earth provides the foundation, the Amish have perfected the engineering. They're the undisputed masters of this natural technology. Their understanding goes far beyond simply digging a hole. They've turned simple materials into a sophisticated food preservation system that works year after year. Their root cellars are marvels of practical design. Every element serves a specific purpose. There's no waste, no unnecessary parts. It's engineering at its most efficient. Take the walls, for instance. These aren't your average garden walls. We're talking about thick stone walls, sometimes up to 2 feet thick. They're built like a massive underground puzzle. Each stone is carefully chosen and placed. They fit together perfectly. This creates a solid barrier. It acts as a thermal battery. It absorbs and releases heat very slowly. The inside temperature barely budges. Even when the weather outside goes crazy, the cellar stays steady. This is crucial for long-term food storage. Fluctuating temperatures ruin vegetables quickly. The thick walls prevent this problem. The Amish don't just use any stone. They select specific types. They look for stones that are dense and hard. These stones hold temperature well. They don't crack easily from freezing and thawing. Building these walls takes time. It takes skill, but the result lasts for generations. Modern concrete might seem easier, but it doesn't have the same thermal properties. Stone is a natural insulator. It's been used for thousands of years. The Amish know this tradition well. They also use natural materials that would make modern builders jealous. Clay is one of their favourites. When packed properly, clay creates an almost impenetrable barrier. It blocks heat and moisture. It works better than a lot of modern insulation. It doesn't cost anything. It doesn't pollute the air. It doesn't off-gas nasty chemicals. This is important for food storage. You don't want your vegetables absorbing strange smells or toxins. Clay keeps the air clean and the temperature stable. It's a simple solution, but it's incredibly effective. Wood plays a big role too. The Amish use it wisely. They choose rot-resistant woods like cedar and white oak. They use these for the structure and shelving. Cedar naturally repels insects. It resists moisture. White oak is incredibly strong and durable. These woods ensure things last for decades. A well-built wooden ceiling can stand for 50 years or more. It doesn't need chemical treatments. It doesn't need constant repairs. Modern treated lumber often contains chemicals. These can affect the taste of stored food. The Amish avoid this problem completely. The entrance is another smart feature. Most Amish root cellars have a double-door system. This creates an airlock. It's simple but brilliant. When someone opens the outer door, the inner door stays shut. This keeps the precious cool air inside. Warm air can't rush in. It can't crash the cool party. This system maintains the cellar's temperature. It prevents sudden changes. It's especially important during winter. Cold outside air can damage stored vegetables. The airlock stops this from happening. The doors themselves are built tough. They're usually made of thick wood. They fit tightly in their frames. Weather stripping isn't needed. The wood naturally swells and contracts. This creates a tight seal. The doors are heavy. This helps them close properly. It also adds to the thermal mass. More mass means more temperature stability. Every detail matters in a root cellar. Ventilation is pure genius. The Amish understand basic physics. Warm air rises, cool air sinks. They use this simple principle perfectly. They place intake vents near the floor. They put exhaust vents near the ceiling. This creates a natural convection current. Fresh air flows in at the bottom. Stale air flows out at the top. It happens automatically. No fans, no electricity, no noise. It's like the original smart home technology. No batteries required. This natural airflow keeps the air fresh. It prevents mold growth. Mold thrives in still, humid air. Moving air stops it. The ventilation system also helps control humidity. Too much moisture causes problems. Too little moisture causes problems. The vents balance this. They let excess moisture escape. They bring in drier air when needed. It's a self-regulating system. The placement of the vents is crucial. They're not just stuck in random spots. They're positioned for maximum efficiency. The intake vent is usually on the north side. This side gets less sun. The air here is naturally cooler. The exhaust vent is positioned to catch the warm air rising. Sometimes there are multiple vents. This allows for fine-tuning. The Amish adjust them based on the season. They know what works best. Even the shelving shows their expertise. They don't use metal or plastic. They use slatted wooden shelves. These are made from the same rot-resistant woods. Cedar and oak are common choices. The slats are spaced carefully. They allow air to circulate around the stored food. This prevents hot spots. It keeps everything cool. The wood also absorbs excess moisture. This helps maintain the right humidity level. Metal shelves might rust. Plastic shelves might trap moisture. Wood does neither. The gaps between the slats are important. They're not too wide. They're not too narrow. If they're too wide, small vegetables might roll around. This causes damage. If they're too narrow, air can't circulate properly. The Amish have found the perfect balance. They've been doing this for generations. They know what works. The mortar used between the stones is special too. They don't use modern Portland cement. They use traditional lime mortar. This mortar allows the walls to breathe. It lets moisture pass through slowly. This is crucial for humidity control. It prevents water from getting trapped. Trapped water causes problems. It can lead to mold. It can weaken the structure. Lime mortar avoids these issues. Lime mortar is also flexible. It moves with the stones. It doesn't crack easily. Portland cement is rigid. It can crack when the ground shifts. This lets air and moisture leak in. Lime mortar seals these small movements naturally. It's a better choice for underground structures. It's been used for centuries. The Amish stick with what works. The ceiling construction is another example of their skill. They use heavy wooden beams. These are supported by the thick stone walls. The ceiling is usually made of wood planks. These are laid across the beams. Sometimes they add a layer of clay or straw on top. This provides extra insulation. It helps keep the cellar cool in summer. It helps keep it from freezing in winter. Every part of an Amish root cellar is designed with purpose. There are no unnecessary features. Everything works together. The thick walls, the natural materials, the clever entrance, the smart ventilation, the wooden shelves, and the special mortar. They all combine to create the perfect food storage environment. It's a system that's been refined over hundreds of years. It's incredibly effective. It's completely sustainable. It costs nothing to run. It's powered only by the laws of physics and the wisdom of the Amish. 3. Underground water, nature's AC system. Okay, so the structure is pure genius. But what about when things get really hot or unexpectedly cold? This is where the Amish take it up another notch. They use underground water systems. This is where things get really clever. They don't just rely on the Earth's coolness. They add water to the mix. This water isn't just sitting in a bucket. It flows. It moves through special channels they build right into the cellar walls or under the floor. These underground water channels are usually between 50 and 60 degrees Fahrenheit. That might sound warm compared to the ideal 34 degrees Fahrenheit of the cellar itself. But here's the kicker. It's all about keeping things balanced. Think of the water like a giant, slow-reacting buffer. In the dead of winter, when outside temperatures plunge well below freezing, this relatively warmer water, even at 50 to 60 degrees Fahrenheit, actually helps. It prevents the cellar from getting too cold. It stops things from freezing solid. It's like having a tiny bit of warmth to keep the deep cold at bay. Meanwhile, in the summer, when the air outside is scorching, maybe hitting 100 degrees Fahrenheit or more, that 50 to 60 degrees Fahrenheit water is still much cooler than the air. It acts like a shield. It reduces the impact of that hot air trying to seep in. It keeps the main storage area closer to that perfect 34 degrees Fahrenheit. The water channels help manage the extremes, keeping the cellar stable year-round. But here's the real genius. These water channels are also crucial for maintaining that perfect humidity level. Remember, we need that 85 to 95% humidity. The flowing water is key. It naturally releases just enough moisture into the air. It happens all by itself. No electricity, no complicated machines, just water moving through stone and earth. This keeps those vegetables crisp and fresh. You don't need to wrestle with finicky humidifiers that either make your cellar a desert or a rainforest. The water does it naturally. It's a perfect self-regulating system. Maintenance? They even use nature for that. Keeping these water channels clean is important. Algae can grow. It can clog things up. It can make the water stagnant. But the Amish have a simple solution. Some communities introduce small fish into the external water channels. These fish eat the algae. They keep the channels clean. It's a self-cleaning system. Talk about a maintenance crew that works for its supper. These fish are doing the job for free. They're part of the system. It's another example of working with nature, not against it. No harsh chemicals are needed. The fish handle the cleaning naturally. One particularly clever aspect is how it handles seasonal changes. During summer months, when temperature regulation is most crucial, the underground water flow often increases. This happens naturally due to spring thaws and rain. This natural increase in flow rate provides extra temperature buffering exactly when it's needed most. It's as if the system knows exactly when to kick into high gear. It responds to the season without any fancy sensors or smart technology. The engineering behind these water systems is surprisingly complex. Despite using no modern technology, the Amish have to calculate the right slope for water flow. They ensure proper drainage. They position the channels just right. They maximize humidity distribution. They minimize any warming effect on the cellar's core temperature. It's like conducting an orchestra. Every pipe and channel plays its part in the symphony of food preservation. And get this, they can even use these water channels to create different humidity zones within the same cellar. Not every vegetable likes the exact same conditions. Areas closer to the water channels stay more humid. This is perfect for moisture-loving root vegetables like carrots and beets. They thrive in that damp environment. But other vegetables, like onions and garlic, prefer things a bit drier. They don't like too much moisture. So, the Amish design the cellar so that spots further away from the main water channels stay naturally drier. It's like having climate control zones. Except this one runs on nothing but gravity and good old H2O. No thermostats. No digital controls. Just smart placement and the natural properties of water and air. The water doesn't just flow through pipes. Sometimes the channels are built right into the stone walls. Water flows behind the walls, cooling them from the inside. It's like the walls themselves are being air-conditioned. The floor can have channels too. Water flows underneath, keeping the ground cool and adding moisture to the air from below. This creates a three-dimensional cooling and humidifying effect. The whole cellar is surrounded by this gentle, flowing water system. It's incredibly effective. It keeps the temperature steady. It keeps the humidity perfect. It keeps the air fresh. Some Amish communities have developed sophisticated drainage systems. These systems work with the water channels. They help carry away any excess heat that might seep in from above. They also provide that steady source of humidity. It's all connected. Everything works together. One wrong calculation and you could end up with an underground swimming pool instead of a root cellar. Getting the water system right is crucial. It's not just about adding water, it's about controlling it. It's about using it strategically. The water channels also deal with something called meltwater. Even in winter, a little bit of ice might melt. Even in summer, condensation can form. This water needs to go somewhere. The channels are designed to handle this. They collect the water. They move it away. They use it. Some of this water is directed to nearby gardens. It's pure water. It's been filtered naturally through the earth and the system. Nothing goes to waste. It's a complete cycle. The temperature of the water itself is amazing. While the earth at root cellar depth maintains that crucial 34 degrees Fahrenheit, the underground streams are typically between 50 and 60 degrees Fahrenheit. This difference is what makes the system work. The water is always cooler than the summer air. It's always warmer than the danger of deep winter freezing. It's the perfect middle ground. It's the perfect buffer. The Amish have mastered this clever trick. They use underground water not as the primary cooling source, since the root cellars themselves maintain that perfect 34 degrees Fahrenheit from Earth's natural temperature, but as an additional temperature management system. It helps maintain consistency year-round. It's the secret ingredient that makes these cellars work so incredibly well, even when the weather outside is doing its worst. 4. Perfect placement and year-round management. Of course, building it right is only half the battle. Where you put it matters enormously. The Amish understand this deeply. They look for spots with stable ground temperature. They know the earth holds secrets underground. The best spots often face north. This slope gets minimal sun exposure. It's like finding shade under a giant umbrella. The ground here stays naturally cooler. This gives the whole cellar system a head start. It's not just about digging a hole anywhere. It's about finding the perfect underground real estate. Location can make or break your food storage dreams. A bad spot means warm vegetables and a very sad potato harvest. Drainage is critical. You don't want an underground swimming pool. Nobody wants to store their carrots in a submarine. The ground needs to slope away from the entrance. Water should roll away like a marble on a tilted table. All sides need this gentle slope. About a 2% grade is ideal. That's a 2-foot drop over 100 feet. It sounds small, but it makes a huge difference. Standing water is the enemy of a good root cellar. It leads to soggy floors, unhappy vegetables, and potential disasters. The Amish have a clever way to test this. They dig a test hole during the wettest season. Then they wait 24 hours. If it stays dry, they've found their winner. If it fills with water, it's time to find a new spot. Maybe take up fishing instead. Finding the right soil mix is key. It shouldn't be too sandy. Sandy soil drains too fast. It doesn't hold temperature well. It's like trying to keep soup warm in a colander. It shouldn't be too clay-heavy either. Clay holds water. This can be good for humidity, but too much water is bad. The Amish look for Goldilocks soil. It's just right. A good mix of clay and loam works best. It holds temperature. It manages moisture. It's not full of rocks the size of bowling balls. Those are just annoying. They make digging harder than it needs to be. They even consider wind patterns. The ideal spot catches just enough breeze. This breeze helps with natural ventilation. It's like a free fan that keeps the air moving. But it can't be in a wind tunnel. Too much wind pulls the cool air right out. It's like trying to keep your house cool with all the windows open during a hurricane. The Amish often use natural windbreaks. Hills or tree lines work great. They protect the cellar from excessive air movement. They keep the cool air where it belongs. Inside the cellar. The height of the water table matters too. This is the level where groundwater sits. The ideal spot has a water table at least 4 feet below the cellar floor. Any higher, and you risk turning your storage space into an aquarium. It's a fine line between enough moisture for humidity and too much water for a flood. The Amish understand this balance perfectly. They know that a little moisture is good, a lot of moisture is bad. Testing the water table before building is essential. It saves a lot of trouble later. Access is another crucial consideration. You want your cellar close enough to be convenient. No one wants a midnight snack run to become an expedition, but it can't be too close to the house either. House heat can affect the cellar's temperature. It's like having a heater right next to your refrigerator. The Amish typically aim for 50 to 100 feet from the main building. This distance keeps things cool. It's still close enough for easy access. It's the perfect balance between convenience and performance. The entrance orientation is particularly important. A south-facing door is like a solar panel. It collects all the sun's heat. This is bad for keeping things cool. An east-facing entrance is better. Morning sun hits it when the air is coolest. The sun moves on, and the door stays cooler. Most Amish root cellars face east or northeast. They're protected by a small overhang. This acts like a baseball cap for your cellar. It keeps the sun off the entrance. It helps maintain that perfect underground temperature. But root cellars aren't just winter wonderlands. They work year-round. The Amish manage them through all seasons. Spring brings the great cellar clean-up. It's part spring cleaning, part treasure hunt. Last winter's potatoes hiding in corners need finding. They might be sprouting eyes, like a kid with too much energy. Walls get scrubbed with vinegar and water. This prevents mould from taking over. Floors are swept clean. Drainage systems are checked for winter damage. Any cracks are repaired. This prevents bigger problems later. The cleaning process can take several days. Each section gets a thorough inspection. Maintenance is key to long-term success. The Amish take detailed records. They note how long different vegetables lasted. They track which varieties perform best. These records are passed down through generations. They help plan the next growing season. Families know exactly what works in their specific cellar. It's like having a personalised storage manual, written by ancestors. Summer transforms the cellar into a natural refrigerator. It's perfect for dairy storage. Milk, butter and fresh eggs stay fresh longer. The temperature difference can be up to 40 degrees. It feels like a crisp fall morning underground. Early summer vegetables get special treatment. Specific spots are designated for short-term storage. Peas, young carrots, and fresh greens need different care. The Amish have mastered the art of stepping produce. They store it at progressively cooler temperatures. This gradual cooling can add weeks to storage life. It's like giving your vegetables a gentle introduction to cold storage. Fall turns the root cellar into Grand Central Station. It's harvest chaos central. The Amish can process and store up to 200 pounds of produce per day. They use a first-in, last-out system. Crops harvested on different days are used accordingly. Special wooden crates with slatted sides allow air circulation. They protect produce from damage during storage. Cedar or other rot-resistant woods are common. The organisation involves more than just stacking vegetables. Foods are arranged by type, storage life, and ethylene gas production. Apples and pears get their own space. They produce gas that speeds up ripening in other produce. Keeping them separate is crucial. Winter is when the cellar truly shines. It works at peak efficiency. Families check stored food weekly. They follow a strict rotation schedule. Any vegetable showing signs of spoilage is removed. It gets added to the compost pile. Nothing is wasted. The Amish use aromatic herbs around storage areas. Bay leaves, thyme, and rosemary are natural pest deterrents. They help protect the food. They add a pleasant scent to the cellar. It's better than any artificial air freshener. Bundles of dried sage, rosemary, and lavender hang from the ceiling. They discourage insects and rodents. It's a natural security system. Year-round management involves adjusting airflow. Winter requires less ventilation to prevent freezing. Summer needs maximum air movement to prevent moisture buildup. The Amish developed adjustable vents. These can be fine-tuned based on outside temperature and humidity. Some families use natural indicators like spider webs. Too much movement means too much airflow. No movement means not enough. It's a simple but effective monitoring system. Many families incorporate traditional weather prediction. They observe plant behaviour and animal patterns. This helps anticipate weather changes. It allows for proactive adjustments. Some can predict temperature changes days in advance. Their connection to nature is incredibly accurate. But sometimes, even the most well-planned root cellar needs a backup. That's where the Amish springhouse comes into play, offering another fascinating solution for food storage. Another Amish alternative for the root cellar can be found above ground. A springhouse is basically nature's refrigerator, powered by nothing but gravity and cold spring water. The key to a springhouse is location. You need a natural spring, where water bubbles up from underground at a steady 50 to 55 degrees Fahrenheit all year round. The Amish build small structures right over these springs, creating what might be the world's first water-cooled storage system. My electric fridge might have an ice maker, but these spring houses have been keeping butter fresh since before electricity was even discovered. Here's a cool fact. A properly built spring house maintains a temperature within 3 to 4 degrees of the spring water temperature. Year-round, that means even when it's hot enough outside to fry an egg on a rock. Inside the spring house, it feels like a crisp fall morning. The stone walls of these buildings are usually about 18 inches thick, which helps maintain the steady temperature, better than my neighbour's attempts at insulating his garage with bubble wrap. The interior design of a spring house is a marvel of simple engineering. Channels cut into the floor direct the spring water through the building, creating a series of pools and troughs. Milk and butter containers are partially submerged in these pools, keeping dairy products fresh for days. The Amish discovered that milk stored this way can stay fresh for up to a week. Try doing that with a warm jug of milk left on your kitchen counter. Water flow management in a spring house is crucial. Too much flow creates unwanted splashing. And humidity, while too little means the water might get stagnant. The Amish developed clever stone and wood channel systems that regulate water flow perfectly. Some families can adjust their springhouse water flow using nothing but a few wooden boards, and some strategically placed rocks. It's like having a water park for your food. The upper levels of a springhouse serve as dry storage areas. The cool air rising from the water below creates perfect conditions for storing eggs, cheese, and cured meats. It's a 2-for-1 deal. Water cooling on the bottom, air cooling on top. The temperature gradient between these levels can be as much as 10 degrees. Nature's version of a multi-zone cooling system. Most spring houses feature special shelving systems built to handle the humid environment. Cedar boards, naturally resistant to moisture and mold, are common. These shelves are often built with gaps between the boards to allow air circulation, preventing that musty smell that seems to follow moisture around, like a lost puppy. 5. Beating the heat and building your own. But what happens if a heat wave hits and the cellar starts warming up? Panic? Nope. The Amish have tricks up their overalls. They don't just rely on the perfect design. They actively manage their cellars. They watch for signs. They know what to look for. Early warning systems are built right in. Potatoes start sprouting eyes faster. This tells them the temperature is rising above 40 degrees Fahrenheit. It's like nature's alarm clock. The Amish call this the potato alarm. When it goes off, action is needed. They don't wait for disaster. They prepare. They adapt. They solve problems with simple, effective methods. No fancy electronics, no complex machinery, just good old-fashioned problem solving. They use cooling stones. These aren't just any rocks. They are large, dense stones. The Amish collect these during the coldest winter days. They store them in shaded outdoor pits. These stones act like natural refrigerators. When the cellar starts warming up, these pre-chilled stones are brought inside. They work like thermal batteries. A 50-pound stone can absorb enough heat to lower the temperature in a small cellar section. This cooling effect can last for up to 48 hours. It's a simple way to fight back the heat. It's like having a portable winter stash. These stones soak up the cold when it's available. They release it when it's needed most. It's genius in its simplicity. Ventilation becomes crucial during warm spells. The Amish have perfected the art of night cooling. They open vents during the coldest hours. This is usually between 2 and 4 a.m. They let the cool night air flow in. This refreshes the cellar's atmosphere. It lowers the overall temperature. Before sunrise, they seal the vents tight. This keeps the warm day air out. It traps the cool air inside. It's like giving your cellar a refreshing night breeze. It sounds simple. It requires someone getting up very early. It's a small price for fresh food. This method can make a big difference. It uses no energy. It costs nothing. It just needs attention and timing. Temporary insulation is another clever trick. When heat waves strike, extra layers help. Straw is packed against walls and ceiling. This adds a temporary barrier. It slows down heat transfer. Wet burlap is another tool. Blankets are soaked in cold spring water. They are then wrung out. These damp blankets are hung in strategic locations. They create a cooling effect through evaporation. It's like a natural air conditioner. It adds moisture to the air. This is good for humidity levels. It helps keep vegetables crisp. Temporary cold zones are created. This is done using wet burlap and natural air currents. It's like building a fort to protect your food. It's a quick fix. It's very effective. It shows how adaptable these systems can be. They even use clay pots filled with water. These pots are positioned throughout the cellar. They act as temperature buffers. They absorb heat during warm spells. They release coolness gradually. This helps stabilize the temperature. A typical root cellar might use 15 to 20 of these natural coolant systems. This happens during challenging weather. It's a low-tech way to manage heat. It's quiet. It's efficient. It's another example of working with natural processes. The water in the pots also helps with humidity. It keeps the air moist. This is crucial for vegetable storage. It prevents shriveling. It maintains freshness. One particularly clever trick involves creating a cold air tunnel. A temporary pathway is constructed. This uses boards and blankets. It channels the cooler air. The cool air is directed from the lowest point. It goes where it's needed most. This makeshift air conditioning system works surprisingly well. It proves that sometimes the simplest solutions are the best. It shows the ingenuity of the Amish. They make do with what they have. They solve problems creatively. They don't need expensive equipment. They understand air movement. They use it to their advantage. This tunnel becomes a lifeline. It keeps the most sensitive produce cool. It buys time. It prevents spoilage. The timing of cellar access changes too. The community coordinates visits. Door openings are limited. They are scheduled for the coolest parts of the day. It's like having specific visiting hours. It's like a very particular underground vegetable hospital. This minimizes the loss of cool air. It prevents warm air from rushing in. Every opening is planned. It's not casual access anymore. It's strategic. It's disciplined. It protects the stored food. It maintains the environment. It shows how every action matters. Even something as simple as when you open the door can affect the whole system. The Amish also use their understanding of food biology. Certain fruits and vegetables release ethylene gas. This gas speeds up ripening and spoilage. During warm spells, these natural gas producers are quarantined. They are separated faster than a kid with a cold. This prevents them from affecting other produce. It's a biological quarantine. It's smart storage management. It shows deep knowledge of how food works. It's not just about temperature. It's about chemistry. It's about keeping different foods compatible. It's about managing the ecosystem inside the cellar. But even with all these clever solutions, sometimes adapting to seasonal changes requires a broader approach. A root cellar isn't just a winter solution. It needs to work year-round. Adapting its role as the seasons change is key. That's where the Amish's mastery of year-round cellar management comes into play. Spring brings the great cellar cleanup. It's part spring cleaning and part treasure hunt. Last winter's potatoes hiding in corners need finding. Walls get scrubbed with vinegar and water. This prevents mold. Floors are swept. Drainage systems are checked. Any cracks are repaired. Summer transforms the cellar. It becomes a natural refrigerator for dairy. Milk, butter, and fresh eggs stay fresh longer. Fall turns it into Grand Central Station. It's Harvest Chaos Central. Winter sees it working at peak efficiency. Families check stored food weekly. They follow a strict rotation schedule. Now, you might be wondering, can I build one of these bad boys? The answer is yes. It takes planning. It takes effort. But it's definitely possible. The first step is finding the right spot. A north-facing slope is ideal. This gets minimal sun. It stays naturally cooler. But don't worry if your yard is flat. The key is finding a spot that stays cool. It must drain well. You don't want water problems. You'll need to dig down about 6 to 8 feet. This is a big job. Call your utility companies first. You don't want to hit any surprises. The excavation itself will be a hole roughly 8 by 10 feet. The walls should slope slightly inward as you dig deeper. This helps prevent cave-ins. It's like a pyramid in reverse. A well-built root cellar can reduce your annual food storage energy costs by up to 90%. The key lies in proper construction. You'll need materials. Concrete blocks or stones are good for the walls. They should be at least 12 inches thick. Pressure-treated lumber is needed for the entrance and door frame. Gravel is essential for drainage. Heavy-duty plastic sheeting helps with waterproofing. A ventilation system is crucial. This consists of two 4-inch pipes. One pipe is for intake near the floor, one pipe is for exhaust near the ceiling. The drainage system is very important. A 4-inch layer of gravel on the bottom works well. It should be sloped slightly toward one corner. This keeps water from pooling. It prevents soggy vegetables. The walls require careful construction. Waterproofing material goes on the outside. This is not the place to cut corners. A good entrance design is essential. You'll want 2 doors. This creates an airlock effect. Both doors must seal tightly. They should also be easy to open. Nobody wants to struggle just to grab potatoes. Inside, sturdy wooden shelves are needed. Rot-resistant wood like cedar is best. They should be spaced about 12 inches apart. This allows room to walk. It prevents bumping into shelves. Temperature and humidity monitoring are vital. You're aiming for 32 to 40 degrees Fahrenheit. Humidity should be between 85% and 95%. This is achieved through proper ventilation adjustment. The total cost ranges from $800 to $3,000. This depends on whether you do the work yourself. It's less than many spend on a fancy refrigerator. This one won't add a dime to your electric bill. The best part is longevity. Once built, your root cellar will serve generations. It's a connection to the past. It points the way to a sustainable future. Sometimes the best solutions are the ones that have been right under our feet all along. So, how do the Amish keep their root cellars at a crisp 34 degrees, even when it's 110 outside? It's a perfect blend of understanding the Earth's natural systems, using smart materials, and applying clever design principles, all without a single watt of electricity. We've explored the stable ground temperature, the genius of thick stone walls and natural insulation, the strategic use of underground water for humidity and temperature buffering, and the importance of smart placement and ventilation. It's sustainable, efficient, and incredibly effective. Isn't that absolutely incredible? The ingenuity and sustainability of it all is something we can definitely learn from. If this peek into Amish ingenuity amazed you, give this video a big thumbs up. Have you ever thought about building your own root cellar? Or maybe you're curious about other off-grid living tips? Drop your thoughts, questions, or your own experiences in the comments below. Let's get a conversation going. And if you love stories like this, exploring simpler, more sustainable ways of life, make sure to smash that subscribe button and hit that notification bell. Trust me, you won't want to miss what we explore next. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Stay cool. Hey,